We are back here on the morning show right here on Channel 18, kicking it with Emily Tracy, running for State Senate of Colorado, District 8. But before we resume our conversation here, a big thanks to the Granby Chamber of Commerce. Granby is the heart of something grand, definitely the hub of our tourism area here. You have great proximity to Grand Lake in the National Park. You have great proximity to Winter Park Ski Resort. They have 2 golf courses as well as a ski resort right in Granby, so it's a wonderful place to stay in Grand County. Emily is from Breckenridge in Summit County, but District 8 encompasses a massive amount of territory here, and Grand County is just a piece of the big pie that you're running for.
And it's a great piece of the pie, I must say. I've been here several times in the last week, and I love it here. The more I'm back here, the more I love it. But it's a wonderful, diverse district, and I mentioned earlier about one of the things we do as candidates is we literally go and knock on people's doors in neighborhoods around the district, and I've been in now will be at the end of this week, over a dozen communities in most counties in this district. And interestingly, even though people do live in very diverse neighborhoods and diverse communities and diverse counties in this district, I tend to hear a lot of the same things, and that is things like they're concerned about affordable housing in many of the communities in this district.
And that's a huge topic in Winter Park right now. We've been struggling with the workforce, trying to find them housing, because there's just so much revenue to be made in the rental and the second home market that it's been hard to compete with.
It's a big issue, and it's amazing how many places it hits. Living in Summit County, I'm very familiar with the issue, and walking and talking to people in neighborhoods in this district has made me realize even better that it's not isolated just to Summit County or Routt or Grand, that it's in Garfield County. It's an issue that was brought up to me by the editor of the Post-Independent a few months ago in Glenwood Springs. And so it's a real concern, and we're talking about, communities that want to keep their workers local. They don't want them to all have to commute overpasses, whatever.
It's not healthy for anyone. They'll be showing up late because of slides and everything else that happens to close the highways.
So it's a very large issue, and every community has different capacity to deal with that. Frankly, I think we should do more from the state level, and I'm anxious to take a look at what's being done.
That was my next question for you. Is what can you do as a state senator to try and help these issues? Are they local issues, or can the state come in and...
I think in some cases we should, if we can at the state level, we should consider some kind of funding assistance to developing workforce housing or something along those lines, because some communities, like in Summit County where I live, they're pretty successful. The county commissioners are pretty successful getting issues on the ballot every few years that provides not only funding for our housing authority, but funding to start new development for apartments or for workforce housing that folks can purchase. So we're pretty successful in raising that money, at least some of it, in Summit County, but not every county can do that, and not every community can do that. So I think there should be really more in the way of funding at the state level, and a process by which that funding could be provided, or as a grant or whatever, to help communities do this.
And a lot of locals here, I'm sure, we all know it's a Grand County problem, but we didn't realize you're seeing that throughout the entire district, and more so the state, probably.
Yeah, it's really, and I guess it's a supply and demand issue, and certainly short-term rentals in resort areas kind of interfere with that ability to have year-round housing that might be affordable for workers. And there's things that local communities may have to do along those lines. But that's certainly one of the big issues I hear about. The cost of health care, the cost of health insurance is another big issue. And these are issues that I think are particular to our part of the state, although you don't necessarily think of them as Western Slope issues. But I'm hearing a lot about concerns about the fact that we, in this resort region, the way they divide these regions up for rating health insurance, we pay the highest health insurance cost in the nation, not just the state. And the legislature has been looking for some solutions for that, but they have not found that yet. So that's something I want to get to work on right away if I'm elected.
I know Colorado right now, the population is just exploding. And is that leading to a lot of these challenges in housing and that sort of thing as well? Or I mean, what are some things that you might be able to see in the future of, I mean, I think the growth isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to continue.
Yeah, it's just going up.
And be it the I-70 use of Interstate 70, be it housing. I mean, there's a lot of issues involved.
And water. You know, we live in a state where the experts are saying that we're expected to double our population by the year 2050. That may sound like it's way out there, but it's really not. And so what does that mean then? And it's all, as you say, all of these issues are impacted by that if we truly do double. When they're already looking closely at water resources and expecting those resources to not grow, but instead perhaps decline a little with climate change. And yet the demand is going to increase. And so much of that demand, as we know, living over this side of the divide, so much of that demand is along the Front Range. And so what can we do to better protect our resources like water? What can we do to solve the health insurance cost issue? What can we do to solve the lack of affordable workforce housing? School funding is another one that I hear about a lot at the door. I knocked on the door some weeks ago of the president of the school board in West Grand County, and that was one of the things he talked to me about, and others have too, in Rio Blanco County and others, that the school formula the way it is now is not really providing for the needs in local school districts. And so it's another one where the growth isn't going to make that problem any easier. It'll make it more difficult.
Lots of issues to tackle,
yes,
and
there are.
that's just a day in the life of a state senator right there. But we're going to need to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and kind of wrap up and cover a few more topics with you. Once again, chatting with Emily Tracy, running for State Senate District 8 in Colorado this November. And again, a big thanks to the Granby Chamber of Commerce. We'll be back in a moment.